Hey everybody, Gerda Mala here, clinical psychologist, private practice success, business coach and mentor, and most importantly, your Elevate 2020 host. How are you going on this amazing day? It is absolutely lovely where I'm at. I'm sure if you listen closely, you can even hear the birds. But I wanted to check in with you and ask you a very important question. And that is whether you are neglecting this very important framework in your private practice. Now, as you may know, if you've watched some of my previous videos here on this page, there are 4 essential elements to having a fabulous private practice, right? And let's face it, why have a private practice if it's not going to be fabulous, right? You want it to be fabulous, and yes, sometimes there's even going to be fabulous challenges along the way, but that's how we approach it. It's fabulous, we're going to get it done, we're going to get sorted. We always have that problem solving approach, and if you don't feel like that about your challenges, it's time to elevate your mindset when it comes to dealing with those. Now, what are those 4 areas that we need to work on to have a fabulous private practice? Of course, it starts with foundation. Then it is all about fighting fears so that you can take the action steps required. Number 3 is frameworks, and number 4 is freedom. And today I want to talk to you about a very important framework that's part of the 3rd area that you need in your practice. Hey Stacy, thanks for joining me live. How are you? Hope you had a fabulous Australia Day long weekend, I should say. Now, frameworks, so important. There's a reason why it's part of the 4 F's of having a fabulous private practice. Now, if you think about it, right, the first area I mentioned was foundations. And then we have frameworks, and both of these are really building terms if you think about it. When you build a house, and I'm actually in the process of building a house, my very first house that I'm brave enough to actually build. Normally we would just purchase our houses that we've lived in. Foundations are so important, right? There's so much stuff that goes into it, and if you're building a house, it's where it all starts, and it has to be perfect, and it has to lay there for a bit of time, and it has to dry out, and all this, that, and the other, right? And your foundations might look a bit different depending on the type of house you build. But then the next really important part, of course, is the frameworks. It's the parts that holds up the structure, right? You cannot build a house without foundations, but you also cannot build it without the proper frameworks, and the same holds true for your business, right? Without the proper foundations and without the proper frameworks, guess what is going to happen? That first challenge is going to come, and it's going to flatten everything, right? It flattens the house. It's like when the cyclone comes over, it flattens the house. And I'm very aware of cyclones because I now live in cyclone country, okay? And I've been educated about it when it comes to even choosing materials for building our house, right? It is so important. It is so easy to grow in today's marketplace where there's a lot of work. It's easy to grow your practice, right? But it's not easy to grow a proper business founded and structured practice, a business and a practice that will withstand the challenges. Now, do you not want that peace of mind? I sure as hell, putting my hand up, I want that, right? I want to know that when a challenge comes, that my business can withstand it, right? That the only thing that's maybe going to be a challenge is my mindset, depending on where I'm at, right? But that I can have that peace of mind that the frameworks in my business have been sorted. And a very important framework, because there's lots, okay? There is lots. But today I want to talk to you about a very important framework, and that is your cash flow. Your cash flow in your business, right? And doing cash flow forecasting. Now, for a very, very long time, I assumed that having good cash flow meant having money in my practice bank account. That is not how you do cash flow forecasting. So if you've been doing it that way, we need to change that. Okay, now cash flow is actually a very simple concept. It's money coming into your business and money going out, money coming in, money going out. but there's a science to managing it, right? And it is a really important part of being able to step into a space where you can make strategic decisions within your business, decisions that's going to require the resource of money, okay? And where you can make those decisions with the confidence of knowing that it's not going to come back to bite you in the ass, that you're not going to look at your bank account in 2 days before bills are due, or 2 days before you need to pay out how many thousands of dollars in invoices to your contractors, and you look in your bank account and it's not there because you've spent money that you thought you had but you didn't have, right? Because you do not have a cash flow forecast. And that is why I've released the training for January for my fabulous Elevate 2020 attendees, a free cash flow forecasting training. That's right, I am going to make you put this framework, well, I can't make you, right? I want to make you put this framework in place because obviously I'm invested in your success, right? It's why I do what I do. It's why I'm a private practice success business coach and mentor. Of course, I can do the training, I can run it, I can send it and email it out to you, but you need to watch it and you need to implement it. So we're in a partnership here, right? So I've recognized this importance, and I, for one, as I said, are the first person to admit that for a very, very long time I neglected my cash flow forecasting, right? But once I started doing it, just the peace of mind that you get from actually having a grip on your money and knowing what you can and can't do, what decisions you can and can't make based on your cash flow forecast. It's a game changer. It most certainly is, which is why I've made this your January free bonus training for those of you that do have Elevate 2020 tickets. Now, if you're watching this live stream and you do not have your tickets as yet, what's stopping you? Go and get your Elevate 2020 tickets, right? I can tell you, I did the numbers yesterday, and we have already given away more than $30,000 worth of training to our Elevate 2020 ticket holders. So I'm very confident that you are going to, even before you walk into the conference venue on the 29th of July, you would have already had a humongous return on investment just by receiving this training. And if you go and actually implement the stuff that I'm sending your way, you will already start to get a return on investment from implementing that stuff. So I am determined to make this the year that you absolutely elevate your private practice by elevating your mindset, your strategies, everything that needs to be elevated as part of your elevation transformation. And this month, of course, it is our cash flow forecasting training. So you would have received an email by now already if you have tickets with the link to the Facebook group where you can ask questions. I really want to get as many of your questions in there as possible so that I can include it in the training. And remember, you also get a Excel spreadsheet, the exact one that we use at my private practice, the Psych Professionals, and I'm going to take you through it, how it works. Everything's going to be in there, right? So you're not going to have any excuse not to do proper cash flow forecasting, and that's my job done. Then it's going to be over to you, and you're going to have to implement that, right? And that is why what I'm doing, and that's why I want you in the Facebook group, so that you can actually implement. I'm giving you 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks, I'm going to look at all the questions in the group, and then I'm going to do a live Q&A session where I'm going to answer all your questions, right? So there's a bit of accountability in there as well. Now, if you don't have Elevate 2020 tickets just yet, you can still get in on this training, okay? All you need to do is purchase your ticket before the end of January. So I think January's got 31 days. So midnight on the 31st of January, you need to get your tickets. And for now, the early bird rate is still available, okay? It is really a steal based on what's going to be on those 2 days and based on all the free training